We talked about the fact that linear means what? Yeah, it has the word line in it. So we're going to take the charts we made yesterday and we're going to draw lines, okay? And there's an example of a line. It's not going to have a curve to it. It's going to be a straight line if you did your work correctly. Okay? Now, this is only one way to graph a line. There are actually easier ways, which we'll learn later, using slope and y-intercept and stuff like that we haven't talked about yet. Here was the first example we did yesterday. If you guys weren't here, you can go ahead and fill this in. But basically, we filled in a chart. We plugged in different numbers. Now, for the first example, I had you guys choose your own numbers, okay? So you actually kind of bounced back and forth. You went 3, 4, then down to 2, and back up to 8 and 10. You're going to see, though, that when we graph these points, it's not going to matter. You're still going to get a straight line, or you should get a straight line. So I'll get you guys to copy that Y. So I'm going to bounce back and forth. So if you guys are copying this, then certainly you'll have time to go back and finish this chart. This first row right here, 3, 1, what would the point be associated with that? If x is 3 and y is 1.
It'd be over 3 and 1.
Okay, so it would look like this. X value comes first, 3, which you're right is over, and then up 1. So when we go and label that point, we're going to go over 3. Okay, so over 3 right here, and then up 1. So the first point is going to be right there. Any questions on that? Does everybody remember how to plot a point? We haven't done any graphing in this class, so I'm just making sure. All we've done so far is simplifying and solving equations. So we can do the same thing for the rest of these points. Look, my chart got out of whack a little bit. 4, 3. So that's going to be right here. Okay, and then 2, negative 1. That's going to be right here. And you can kind of already see that, like, you only need 2 points for a line, right? Not 3. I mean, the third one's just going to still be on the line. We can certainly plot the rest of these points, but if you're doing it right, they will form a straight line. So when you go and get the worksheet or the assignment or whatever, the lesson, you only actually have to plot 2 points. So now we're just going to connect them. And what am I missing? Arrows, yes. A line goes forever in both ways.
I got 0 before because I didn't.
Okay.
Hate it.
No, I'm not going to be a stickler for that. But anyways, we're not going to do this today, but can anybody tell me what the slope of this line is? Positive, yes. Positive what? Yes.
Positive 1 over 3 or 1 over 1 of 3 or
All you got to do is start at a point.
What?
All you got to do is start at any point. We'll start at this one. And you go up 1, right? I'm sorry, up 2 and over 1. So if you go up 2 and over 1, then the slope is positive 2 over 1. But anyway, that's for another lesson. All we're doing today is just graphing the line. Any questions about the first example? So we've graphed y equals 2x minus 5 by using this chart. By the way, the hint for the slope is, you notice the slope is 2. The slope is just going to be the number next to the x. Okay? You're going to see that every single time. So let's look at the next example. Y equals negative 3x. So if we want to graph that, we'll use the chart we used yesterday. In that particular case, we talked about the fact that you want to use these 5 values most of the time, unless it's a fraction. So negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. So my first point is going to be negative 2 comma 6. Which is going to be right here. Okay, actually I think I can make better points that way if I do it like this. Let's try it that way. On the worksheet from yesterday, you can pick your own numbers, yes. Just try to go from smallest to biggest. All right, next one is negative 1, 3. It's going to go right there. Next one is 0, 0. Now again, you actually only need 2 points, but I'll do 3 just for the sake of example. If you did the other two, well, we'll do all of them. Why not? Next one is 1, negative 3. I guess you could just do them all just to make sure you're doing it right, because if it doesn't make a straight line, that means your table's off. So 1, negative 3 is going to be right here. And then finally, 2, negative 6. Right there. And if we connect those, whoops, that's too thick. If we connect those, it's going to make hopefully a straight line. And then just put the arrows. So this one has positive or negative slope. Okay, thank you. So how do you know if it's negative or positive? Well, if it's up on the left and down on the right, that means it's negative. And if it's down on the left, up on the right, it's positive. So we know it's negative. Again, I told you guys, if you want to know what the slope is, you can actually just look at this number right here, negative 3. Let's check and see if that's true. Start at any point. I start at this one. I got to go down 3 and then over 1. So down 3 over 1, that would be my slope, negative 3. Any questions on that? Next example. We did y equals 1/4 x minus 8. Okay, so again, we did the chart. I'm not going to redo the chart again, but why did we plug in these numbers, negative 8, negative 4, 0, 4, and 8? Why not negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2? What's up with this? Yes, Trista. Yeah, what were you going to say? Okay, this 1 over 4 is going to influence these numbers. We want to get a whole number back, so if we did negative 2, for example, that would give me a fraction. Plug in negative 8, get negative 10, so on and so forth. So let's plot, now you can actually choose any 2 of these points, and it should make a line, right? So why not do the 2 easiest? Actually, they're all kind of far out. We'll just do the first 2, negative 8, negative 10. So negative 8, negative 10. Wait, let me make sure that's right. Yeah, negative 8, negative 10. It's going to be right down here. It's hard for me to do a single point. It's hard for me to get it right. All right, negative 8, negative 10. And the next point is negative 4, negative 9. Which is right here. We'll do a few more. 0, negative 8. We can see it forming a straight line. And then 4, negative 7, 8, negative 6. Okay, and if we connect that with a line, okay. So what do you guys think the slope of this one is based on all this information? 1/4, right? So you can actually, again, you can just look at that number right there, or you can actually count it. Let's see if this works. We're going to go up 1 over 4. So the slope would be 1/4. All right, one more example. No, wait a minute, 2 more examples. Next, we had negative 3 minus 2/3 x. Before we even do the chart, what do you guys think the slope is going to be? Close. Good, negative 2/3 because of this minus right here. Let's check and see if that's the case. All right, first point we got was negative 6, 1. Next point we got was negative 3, negative 1. That's negative 2. Okay. Third point we got was 0, negative 3, and I'll just stop there. Remember, it only takes two points to make a line. And we connect that. Not exactly perfect, but you get the point. Let's check to see, does it have a slope of negative 2/3? Yeah. Okay, so down 2 over 3. So it does have a slope of 2/3, down 2 over 3. Last example. We talked about the fact that if y equals a constant number, that means everything that goes in the y column is going to be that same number. It doesn't matter what you plug in for x. We'll certainly use the same exact values as we did before, -2 to 2, but if y equals 5, there's no x to plug in, so it just stays 5. So let's plot a few of those points. The first point is going to be -2, 5. So about right there. Next point is -1, 5. And you can already see that it doesn't really matter what you plug in. Everything's going to be 5, right? So what kind of line is going to form when you connect those dots? Right. The point is, if you have a y equals a constant number, you're going to have a horizontal line. Now, the last question is, what's the slope of this line? Hmm?
0, 0.
All right, well, okay, so
Since there is no x, it's 0.
undefined is a good guess. Undefined is when it's a vertical line, okay? So if it's like this, undefined, okay? It's still a straight line and it's still not diagonal, so. But for a horizontal line, the slope is 0 because you don't have to go up to go over. You're going up 0 units and going over 1. 0 over 1 is 0. All right, any other questions about this? Because we're going to be doing a lot of graphing in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Something happened to that chart there. I'm glad he mentioned the undefined. This is what an undefined equation would look like. Let's say we had x equals -3. So when you have x equals a number, that's going to tell you that it's a vertical line. The way we're going to graph that is simply to go to where x equals -3. So we'll go right here because x equals -3. And then you just draw a vertical line there. Okay? So if it was x equals 4, for example, you would draw a vertical line at 4. That's it. Those are all the types of lines you can have. Any other questions about that before I give you guys the assignment?